Welcome to the first edition of the Media Blackout. You can find us at the www.themediablackout.com or on Facebook group. I'm Russell Wyatt.
And I'm Chad Landman.
And I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. In our show, we're going to be a tech podcast. For those of you who don't know what a podcast is, I hope you do because you're sure downloading this. It's a free internet radio show. If I've told you about this before, it's a free internet radio show, and you can download it and listen to it at any time, whether you don't have an iPod or not. I've had about 1 billion people come up and ask this question to me. What we're going to do on the show is there's going to be me, the PC guy, and
Chad, the Apple representative.
And we're going to consider and discuss lots of different tech questions. We're going to give you tips, a lot of stuff that you can use on the Freed-Hardeman campus. For example, today on the show, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the little things going on with the Mac Mini, Intel Macs. I'm going to be discussing some of the LimeWire blocks that have been going around campus. And we're going to also discuss Google Talk and a free alternative to Microsoft's Office. So, if anything else is out there, I would like to introduce a couple of our cast members who aren't with us today, besides myself and Chad. We're going to be having on the show, quite frequently, Matt Beard and Tim Wells. They will be helping out as much as possible. Matt Beard's going to be on the next episode discussing SLI versus Crossfire. Many people don't know what that is. But we'd like to first start off a little thing. I just actually recently looked up on Dig about 5 minutes ago, and it's got 119 digs right now. If you don't know what dig.com, you should definitely check it out. There's a video of Chuck Norris reading the Chuck Norris facts.
And that's been a big, thing around campus. Chuck Norris doesn't sleep, he waits, stuff like that, real crazy, unused, unbelievable, stupid facts.
Yeah, I'm a personal big fan of Vin Diesel myself. The Vin Diesel jokes,
the Mr. T ones are great too.
Vin Diesel speaks in Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound.
Vin Diesel once punched Chuck Norris in the face in HD or something.
Yeah, high definition. Anyways, moving on from that, if you want to check it out, it's at dig.com, digg.com. Be sure to check out Kevin Rose's Dig Nation as well. If you're a fan of anything like this, you should check that out. First on the show, we're going to talk about the Mac Mini. This is going to be Chad's little section. I'm not familiar with it, but we're going to discuss it a little bit. So go ahead, Chad.
Okay, last Tuesday, there was a little box that came out from Apple called the Mac Mini. Now, I don't know if you know what a Mac Mini is, but it is a 6.5-inch long, 2.5-inch tall computer system. It's a desktop computer system. You have to buy your own keyboard. You have to buy your own monitor. But it's it's the cheapest Apple that you can possibly buy, your most bang for your buck. They just came out with a new one of these with all the new software on it, all the new stuff, just everything new on it. It's 4.5 times faster than the original one.
But what's the speed on it, actually?
The speed is actually 1.66 gigahertz, okay? The one I actually just bought a Mac Mini for around Christmas time, and I got the old one. So I'm feeling kind of gypped right now, but that's okay. But I got a 1.42 gigahertz. The crazy thing about this is these are 1.66 gigahertz. You may not think that's clock speed, clock speed myth or whatever. Not very much of an improvement, but believe me, it is. It's about a 4.5 times faster improvement. So these little computers are perfect for dorm rooms. They're just absolutely perfect. They don't take up very much space at all. You can add hard drives to the bottom of them. I've seen 400 gig hard drives that you can put on the bottom of these things that just make them about 2.5 inches taller, and they look very, very snazzy. It's really great. This comes out with a 100 gig hard drive, and it has just got the front row software. It's got the brand new iLife software that came on it with the iMovie 6, iTunes 6, all those new programs like that. And it's just a very splendid piece of thing. You can even get a little remote with it. Unbelievable. So go check that out. Apple.com is where you can check that out. And it's under the whole thing about small is beautiful.
So I have a couple questions about this thing. Would you be able to use that iMovie as a powerful movie editor?
iMovie is getting more and more powerful. It's getting closer and closer to the Final Cut Pro and the Final Cut HD. Mm-hmm. You would never believe the things that you can do with they have an iDVD program on there now that you can actually create widescreen HD DVDs. So
nice.
It's very, very, very cool.
Yeah. What about overclocking? I mean, some of the guys out there, if you're into overclocking, you're probably a PC guy anyway. But do you think this thing would be good for overclocking at all? I'm sure there's some Mac enthusiasts out there.
Well, I really don't know, to be honest with you, much about overclocking, but they say that you can overclock it just a little bit. Apple's very limited in what they want you to do with their OS X program.
Right.
They really don't want you to tinker with it that much, unlike the PC side of things.
Okay, I see on there the website says the Intel Core Duo.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit about the Intel Macs.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute then. If that's the case, anything else about that Mac Mini?
No, just a very thing. Keep in mind, you have to buy your own keyboard, mouse, and monitor.
How much is the base for it?
Base is $599.
$599, $600. That's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
For a Mac. Yeah, it's a pretty good price, actually, considering Macs are a little bit more on the expensive side, but sometimes it's worth it depending on what you want to do with it. Moving on, now we're going to go to the Lock to the LimeWire block. I've heard many of my friends talking about this, actually. Talked to one of my friends, I won't name any names for obvious reasons, but they've been downloading music through LimeWire, as I'm sure many of you do.
I know I do. I live off campus, and I do. So
this is the ethical thing around here, and a lot of people don't agree with it, but we're not going to get into that right now. We're actually just going to talk about what is going on. The school has a little script running through the internet, actually, from what I've heard, at their servers. And what it does is it tries to catches the ports that the LimeWire will run off of, and it'll block your little internet port in your room if you don't, the little thing you plug your Cat 5 cable into, or Cat 6 if you wanted to waste a little extra couple bucks for the gold tip. But depending on what you wanted, you got that thing in there, and it'll catch the ports, and it'll find out if you're running LimeWire. And as soon as it finds out you're running LimeWire, it shuts your internet off. And you have to go to the dean to talk about it to get it fixed up. Well, I heard somebody actually went to talk to Dean Browning, and he said something to the effect of, well, the reason we're doing this is that people were downloading pornography through the internet through this manner. The filters can't catch it, which is true. I know for a fact that the filters can't catch things running through third-party programs. You could get to, a lot of people use certain programs, VPN clients on campus, virtual private networks, to reach certain web space that people cannot catch. I'm not going to name any programs, but they'll get on MySpace with it. Usually it's for legit reasons. It's just things that people want to get to that they normally can't, and they don't want to go to that little computer lab in the library. But we're just going to talk about this for a minute. I heard that they're not trying to cut down on the copyright infringement. In fact, they're just trying to keep out the pornography, which is a good thing. It keeps people safe and a good Christian atmosphere. But on the other hand, it's limiting our freedom as well as a little bit, some of the stuff that they do. But I'm sure that the school could get in trouble for some of this copyright infringement. I really begin to wonder sometimes about this school and a lot of things that they've done in the past. I've heard stories, I'm not sure if they're all true, a lot of rumors about them spreading spyware through people's computers. A few years back, I heard that they were cleaning, quote-unquote, cleaning the computers. They would run a disk, and everybody would have to bring their computer down to the lobby before they would turn the internet on at the beginning of the school year because they were afraid of viruses attacking the ports.
Oh, that's no joke. That actually happened.
Well, I heard that happen, but I also heard that the joke, or not the joke, but the rumor had it that they were spreading spyware through that disk as well. I can't remember who exactly told me about this, but I've heard about it. I also heard a funny joke that one kid brought down a Linux box, and the IT department had no clue what to do with it. I don't know if he was running Fedora Core or Ubuntu or whatever, but I just thought that was quite funny. But let's move on. We're going to try to keep this show on the road. We're going to move on to the Intel Macs now, and I'm sure that everybody's been hearing about this. There's a big deal going on for a while now. It looks like they're coming out. Is it a laptop?
Oh, it's a laptop and the iMac, and now the Mac Mini actually has, the Mac Mini that just came out that I just talked about, has an Intel Core Duo in it. So that means that you have Intel, half of Intel is for PCs now, half of Intel is for Apples. So that has a lot of PC folks worried and a lot of Mac, Apple people happy. So I'm going to talk about that just for a minute. Let me give you the lowdown on this. There's no reason to be scared. There's no reason to do anything. Apple has come out with a universal software that they use for this that will be able to run programs. Also, on the new Intel Macs, they have a program called Rosetta that you can You can use any program that you've previously used on a Power PC Mac, which is all the ones that existed before. on these systems.
So real quick here, is it an operating system?
No, it is not an operating system. It is simply a program. I don't actually know. It's like a sub program to the thing. I don't know that
like
the actual
running
terminology.
how you can run.
It'll run a script to keep up with the processor.
Yeah, because
so.
I've heard of things happening in PCs where I forget the name of the program, but there's a program you can run Mac OS X within a window of Windows.
Yeah, that's been done before, but it's not been authorized.
Okay,
and
so
Apple doesn't want to.
Exactly.
Apple doesn't want to get all into that because they're.
But is that similar to what's going on here?
Similar, but not exactly like it, because you have a difference between the PowerPC chips that were used, pre-January of this year, and then the Intel chips that are being used after January of this year. So every Mac you're not going to see any more G5s. You're not going to see any more G4s. You're not even going to see G6s, because G6s, they're not going to be calling these things G6s. They are the Intel Core Duos. The MacBook Pro is the new PowerBook, and the iMac, the new iMac, which has got the iSight camera on the top of it, that's the new Intel Mac. So no reason to be scared whatsoever. It's just a leap for the future for Apple. So.
Well, how fast are these things? Are they going to be incredibly faster?
Well, here's the let's say Macworld magazine put this to the test, and they said that the startup, which is really what everybody in the iMac Core Duo, it took about 25 seconds. iMac G5, 46 seconds. Okay, something like if you were trying to encode an MP3 on iTunes, a minute 14 in. With the iMac Core Duo, the Intel one, and a minute 23 for the iMac G5. So
looking at these things, the only thing that looks like it's taking a little bit longer to run is the iMovie compression.
Yeah, iMovie compression. iMovie is a strange program because it's. I know a lot about iMovie. I know a lot about Final Cut because I do a lot of video editing and stuff like that. It depends on whatever you have running on your system at that point. So that's kind of weird, but. That's just something that you have to deal with, and that's probably has to do with the whole getting used to the Intel chip and everything like that. So,
Well, if there's not anything else on that, we could just move on.
Okay.
I would like to know, though, have you played around with any of them at all?
I have seen them in stores. That's about it.
You didn't get to touch it?
I got to mess around with it. I got to play with it. It's pretty fast. They're decently a whole lot faster than mine that I have at home, and I just bought mine 2 months ago. So.
Because I know that I used to like going to Best Buy and playing on the little G5. It was pretty fun every now and then.
Well, the thing about it is now, I'm kind of mad because I'm an Apple user, and Apple's coming out with something great every few months. It seems like now, every few weeks almost. So just be prepared for Apple to come out with some new crazy looking things. And we're going to be talking about iPods a little bit later, and I'm going to turn it over to Russ for the. Google Talk, I think.
We're gonna start talking about Google Talk here. If you aren't familiar with this, it came out a while ago as in a beta about actually I think it was sometime last semester. Might have been even earlier than that. But Google Talk started using your Gmail account to log into an AIM or MSN Messenger type program. It's just a messaging program. And to tell you the first off, it stunk. And I'll tell you why. Well, it was meant to be very lightweight. So people wouldn't have to worry about it, and it was good for that. But there's nothing special about it, and it didn't draw people's attention. Nobody wanted to get on it, and I think that's one of the reasons why it didn't take off, personally. But now they're trying to make it take off, and I don't really like this opinion that Google's taken. They're trying to make it take off by forcing users in Gmail to use it. They're incorporating it into their website. I think that's kind of dirty.
No, it is, because I check my Gmail. I check my mail 6 or 7 times a day. And every time I sign in, it takes longer and longer because it's got to load that extra program or that little window or whatever you want to call it, and it just slows that whole page down when I'm trying to download it. So.
I'm not sure. I remember, I think Kevin Rose was talking about this the other day. I was listening to Dignation. There's something else going on, too, I think that might be causing their slower times. Google's just getting slower. I don't understand it. They're adding servers constantly. They get 2 gigabytes of space, and everybody wants a Gmail.
And now it's a 2.8 now. So
it's getting huge, and that takes up a lot of space. And some people are even exploiting it to use it as their hard drives, external hard drives. There's programs you can get out there right now that will allow you to save files into a Gmail account, anything like MP3s, etc., and just use it as a hard drive that you can access from anywhere on the net.
I've heard of people having icons on their desktops and being able to just drop stuff in there,
Yes.
and it goes straight to their Gmail account, like a video file or anything.
Yeah, that's the program I was referring to. I tried to use it once. I just kind of didn't really want to do it that much, so I kind of gave up on it after a while. The slow loading times at free internet didn't help, so uploading here is not the best idea. But I mean, just Google's direction in general is going downhill, in my opinion. They got all this money. They got like however many $1 billion in the corporation now.
Their stock is constantly going up on the stock exchange.
Right, but I believe that what they're not making smart business moves, because they're just like a bunch of guys who got together and like we're gonna create this great free thing, right? And it's gonna be awesome, and we're just gonna break even on it. But then they started making a little money, and all of a sudden, boom, they got smacked, and they're making millions of dollars. And now they got like, all right, what we're gonna do out here is they're coming out with all these new programs, and some of them are bad and some of them are good. I think the last good program that they came out with was Google Earth.
Google Earth is a great program.
It's awesome, but I mean, like, then there's other stuff like the translation tool is cool. Blogger, I don't think we need more blogs on the net, personally. All this stuff, they just got all these tools coming out, and what they'll do is they get like 10 engineers, and they say, all right, guys, here's a budget, create something cool, and if it's good, we'll use it. If it's not, we'll toss it. But that's just like a way to throw away money. You got to come up with the idea first of what you want to do. You know what I mean? Come up with a plan. This just seems like a big waste of money to me, and they're coming up with all these little programs about it. And Google is just wasting money, throwing it left and right, not thinking about it, what they want to do with it, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, at first there's been like these rumors about Google coming out with their own operating system. They've been purchasing small little bits and pieces of everything. I've heard rumors. I can't remember if it's been verified or not. It's been a while since I've been reading up on this, but they bought an anti-spyware program. They're making a messenger. They got Google Desktop already incorporated into Windows. It just slowly starts to make more sense that they're just trying to make a web desktop. And I actually heard a rumor. I think they've been talking about it. I think Walmart denied it, but they were thinking of coming up with this cheap PC that people could buy for like $300 or something like that. Something really small that would just be for surfing the net and typing up pages. Like something like like an iBook or something like that, I guess. I don't know many people who use iBooks for gaming or other stuff like that. Usually it's just for people who want to surf the net and do other stuff,
Yeah.
Just hanging out. And maybe play some music files and stuff like that. But to me, I mean, that would be really cool, because one thing, it would force a lot of people to want to go out and buy something. They would want to go out and buy this, and everybody would have a computer, because I know there's some people who are just so reluctant because they're like so expensive and they don't use it for anything but surfing the net, and they don't want to spend $700 or $800 on a computer just to surf the net, and it's understandable. However, I mean, I don't know. It's just Google's direction. They're very shady in what they do. They don't talk about anything. Very quiet. I mean, most companies are, but I've also heard Windows is coming up with a Windows Mail Live. Have you heard about that?
No, I have not. Is that part of the Longhorn program, the new operating system?
Actually, I think it's in beta right now for, I don't think it's going to be in Longhorn. It's not like Outlook Express or anything like that, or Thunderbird. Instead, it's 2 gigabytes of mail space for free. And it sounds to me like they're trying to keep up with Google. They're trying to hit all the things. Microsoft, they try to keep up with everybody. They have like a bazillion different competitors in 7 different categories. But it just amazes me what they're going to talk about next. And they're trying to keep up with every little thing. I haven't tried it yet. I was thinking about getting an account and seeing how it works. Microsoft usually a lot flashier, and Google's very lightweight and stuff. But
text-only ads and stuff like that.
I don't even use their I don't check Gmail through Mozilla Firefox, or I check it through Thunderbird. So I don't even go to their website hardly anymore, except to check the mail for other accounts that I have. But let's move on real quick. We're gonna run out of time here soon. We're gonna talk about the iPod really quickly.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about this because we are a podcast. It kind of makes sense to talk about the iPod for a little bit. I think the iPod is really what's making Mac a lot of their money nowadays.
Oh, they're selling at least a statistic I read somewhere. They sell 150,000 iPods every week.
That would make sense. I mean,
it makes complete sense, and it was even more a couple of months ago when the iPod Video came out.
Which I have one, and it's very sweet.
Now, these iPod videos, they're just amazing. If you haven't seen these things, you need to see one, and just go to the store, go to Best Buy, something, and see one. They're amazing. You can put 30 gigs of video.
There's a 60
programs
gig as well.
There's a 60 gig as well. You can get them in black or white.
I prefer the white. I got a black one, and if you don't take care of that thing, it gets scratched up really easy. So you can get like these plastic covers on them and stuff. And then they make this stuff called ice cream. I heard about ice cream, and it's what they use to repair eyeglasses, kind of, the scratches, and it'll take the scratches right out of the clear on the outside.
Oh, wow, okay, I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, a friend of a Mac store back home, Mac Daddy Computers, but yeah, it's back in Modesto, California, was telling me about that, and he says that he could order some if I wanted to, but I didn't have time for it to come in. I was leaving back to school over Christmas break.
Greatest thing about these video iPods, you can buy lots and lots of TV shows off of iTunes. You can also... there's programs out there, and we're kind of the unauthorized people here, but there's programs out there where you can rip DVDs to your hard drive, put them in iTunes, and watch them on your iPod. So it's just a fantastic piece of equipment.
Not that I would do such a thing.
Of course, never.
Yeah, I'm too. DVD Ripper is a good program for that kind of stuff. If you want to do that kind of thing, not that we would.
Not that we're authorizing it.
But we want to make plain we don't authorize any of that sort of illegal activity.
Nor do we endorse.
Yes, we don't authorize and we don't endorse. A little thing about the iPod I also wanted to talk about is the video is nice, but it wasn't too long ago. I remember people were getting excited about the iPod Photo, and then the next, what is it, third generation iPod with a click wheel.
I would definitely wait, because Apple's got stuff up their sleeve, especially with the iPod. If they don't have anything else up their sleeve with all these computers and stuff, they got stuff up their sleeve with the iPod, and they're going to come out with something fantastic. Something's going to like flip you eggs and make you breakfast or something.
Well, I've seen lots of things through the internet. People were making little, actually I saw a flash animation of what they think the next generation iPod will be. What it is you can turn it sideways, and it's a widescreen, touch screen iPod, and you can touch on it, and it's not got the click wheel. They got rid of the click wheel. I mean, the click wheel will show up as like a virtual image on your iPod. It's all LCD.
Oh, wow.
And you could flip it around, and it's just like what the people are coming out. I mean, but then again, people thought that the Nintendo Revolution was going to be like something weirdo looking, and then it turned out to look kind of normal.
Oh, we don't need to talk about that.
But I mean, there's always concept art, and that's all it is. But I mean, to think that that's probably what they're going to come up with next, I can guarantee you, probably within the next 3 or 4 years at least, they'll have a widescreen iPod video, and you'll be able to watch widescreen
HD, everything.
I wouldn't say HD right away. I don't think they can make HD that small so soon. They'll probably wait a little bit on that.
One thing about HD, real quick, before we end the show here. HD, there was this law signed by President Bush 2 weeks ago that made it effective February 9th, 2009. Every TV and every radio signal will be high definition. That means you will have to have a HD TV to get a broadcast HD signal and an HD radio. So just a little side note for you. We've got about 3.5 years until that happens, but it's actually not that far away. So
the thing about it is a lot of the TVs within the past 5 years aren't necessarily HD TVs right out of the box. That's it.
They're HD TV compatible. They're not HD TVs.
Right, which is not very good. A lot of them don't have all the DVI outs and things of that sort. So if you bought an HD TV within the last 5 years, you're pretty much going to be up the creek without a paddle, because all these things that are coming out with, especially like the Blu-ray discs and the HD DVDs, are going to require special players, because they're trying to protect as much as they can and get the copyright protection in. They don't want their discs being used on anything else.
We're going to be trying to talk about that some in our next show, so we're going to have a whole lot more about that.
We're gonna read up on that. Real quick before we go, I promised an alternative to Microsoft Office. If any of you, I've had a lot of people come up to me, hey Russ, can you get me do you have the Microsoft Office discs or something like that? Can I borrow it? I don't use Microsoft Office. My mom bought it. I put it on one of my computers once, and I used Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. That was about it. I don't use Excel or Access like that. I'm not a business major. I know a lot of the business majors do that kind of stuff. But there is a free program out there that is legal. It's open source software. If you don't know what that is, open source software is free software that is made by somebody who just wants it to get out there, basically, and they're just offering it to anybody for download or even to change if they would like in any manner. So what it is it's called OpenOffice, hence the name open source software. OpenOffice, you can check it out at openoffice.org. It's a free program, download it, come with everything you want that was in Microsoft Office, like Student Teacher Edition nonetheless. You get like this math program even, which I don't know how to use. I don't really study math that much.
Now, is Publisher come with that?
Publisher, I'm not sure if they have a answer to Publisher out yet. Microsoft's been saying that they're 10 years behind. I wouldn't say that much at all, because they can save into any format of Microsoft you want, whether it be up to date and anything.
Now, is that available for Macs also?
I'm not sure if it's available for Macs at all. You might want to check the website. They probably have something on there. But I know for a fact that it'll come with an Access, Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. And they all save in different formats, but they have the ability for you to save into Word formats and other Microsoft-type formats, which is kind of nice if your teacher asks for a copy of your file on disk or something like that, and they're like, what's this file extension? I can't open it. So you can just save it into a different file extension. It'll turn into a doc format, and you can open up in any Microsoft Word. And the cool thing about it is it's pretty lightweight, considering it's not as heavy as Microsoft Office, but it does have all the same tools as spell check, which I'm sure everybody's grateful for.
Yes.
It doesn't have that little annoying paper clip though that pops up every time once in a while.
Also another good thing.
Yeah, and any of those little things. It's a little bit more lightweight. I heard about it the other day. Microsoft, like I said, was saying it's 10 years behind, but 10 years behind on Word. I mean, what do you need from Word? Just to type something. I mean, I would type something on a typewriter if I had to. It's not that big a deal. And to get it on a computer is even better. So either way, it's better than typing in Notepad, and you don't have to pay for $150 for Microsoft Office. You get it for free. That's openoffice.org. You can check it out. If you can't find it, I can't remember how to spell it. I don't know. Just check it out on Google. Google it. It's there. I think that's it. Is that everything?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to thank everybody for helping us out with this. Tim Wells will be up and running with us soon. I'd like to thank GoDaddy.com for supplying my domain name and web space. We might be not using it. Tim Wells is offering us to use his, but we're going to see how that works out. We're going to try to keep in touch with everybody. Please leave comments. We have our web address on the Facebook group, as well as an email address for any of you, those who'd like to questions or comments. If you have any ideas for episodes, things you want us to talk about, we'd be willing to do any type of tutorials, tips, tricks, computer ideas, whatever you want us to talk about. This show has been more about technology. We want to focus on that kind of. We want to focus on just, the business of computers, as well as what's coming up, new things coming out, anything from video games to hardware, software, Apple and PC. We'd also would like you to be sure if you want any help on other software programs, such as, I guess Chad here is really good at that, iMovie. And
I consider myself an expert in iMovie.
And I do a lot of Photoshop work myself. I'm not very good at web work, although I will be trying to produce a website very soon. So if you go to our website, you're actually going to see something that pops up and says website coming soon. I'll be working on Photoshop stuff. I do some book covers for Dr. Hester, as a matter of fact. I work for him. I've worked for companies doing stuff in Illustrator as well. I used to make t-shirts for Starbucks, stuff like that. So if you guys have any questions about that, I'm sure I'll be glad to answer those for you.
He'll ask too.
Yeah, I'll ask if I have to. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to ask it. And we'll try to help you out as best as possible. We're just here to help out Freed Hardeman students as best we can. We want to be able to help each and every one of you to grow in your computer knowledge, and those of you who already probably know more than us, at least to get a little information and enjoy without having to surf the web for all your information. So have a good day, and join us back again next time on the Media Blackout.
See ya. See you later.